Larry is going to call him right now.
Okay.
He's ready to call him as soon as we get ready.
It's time to start the school board meeting for July the 13th. Let the record indicate all school board members are present, along with the Superintendent Haley Robinson, Clerk Tanya Baker, and Attorney Scott Mullins. I would ask everyone to stand for a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have an agenda. Is there any changes or suggestions of change to the agenda?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda? A motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. We now have an agenda. That brings us to item number 2, Mr. Elton.
Thank you, Dr. Lyle, and good evening, board members. At this time, you have a folder before you with a memo dated July the 2nd, which you received at our last board meeting. You also have a memo July the 13th, which is for today's meeting, and then you have the interim agreement with colored sketches in the folder before you. We have Mr. Ellswick on the phone. Mr. Ellswick?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Ellswick, we're ready if you're ready to begin.
Sounds good. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me well.
We can hear you, Curtis, but it might be good if you speak up.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Well, first off, I apologize I could not be there in person, but I wanted to provide an update on the elementary school. And as Mrs. Robinson has noted, I prepared a memo to include with the board packet that I'll summarize this evening. As you recall, in early June, the school board selected a design build team for the elementary school that consisted of Questenberry's Construction, Kingswood, OWPR Architects, and the Lane Group. And since that time, in early June, we have been negotiating what we're calling the interim agreement, which is an initial contract for design and pre-construction work only. And that contract, which you have in your packet, does several things. Number one, it establishes the maximum amount that you're going to pay for design and construction of the elementary school. That's otherwise known as a contract cost limit. The other thing it does is it includes their fee for this initial phase of work, so it's work for design services only. It also includes all the terms and conditions that we have negotiated as part of that agreement. As Mrs. Robinson noted, there are some illustrations, some sketches, there's several exhibits included with that contract that in relation to where the elementary school is proposed to go on the Ridgeview site. It also includes things about insurance. There's a lot of information in there. And as I mentioned, the Ridgeview site has served as the basis for this agreement. All the fees, the estimates of cost, the maximum that is paid is based upon Ridgeview. And as we mentioned in the last time that I presented in front of the board, Ridgeview is the only site that fits within the budget or the amount of funding you have available through the Army Corps of Engineers without placing the school board in a lot of risk of being over budget to some of the potential environmental and unforeseen site conditions that we had foreseen at the other sites that were being considered. The final version of the interim agreement that you have in your packet has been reviewed by the attorneys from the school board, Mr. Mullins, as well as the attorney for the Board of Supervisors, Mr. Phillips. And as you may be aware, the Board of Supervisors held a special called meeting last Thursday, and they approved the school board moving forward with the PPA process and the interim agreement that was sent to them. And so the recommendation for the school board tonight is to approve the division superintendent to execute the agreement, which will allow the project to move forward and have design work completed on the project, and to get to the point where at some point in the near future, when design work is pretty much complete, we would be sitting down again to talk about the contract for construction. And so you're only signing up for the design phase of the project at this time. And this recommendation is based on trying to expedite getting this project moving forward to avoid issues with additional costs such as escalation. And that's the recommendation this evening.
And members of the board, we will be going in closed session to talk about some additional contract provisions that have yet to be fully resolved. And so I wanted to bring this portion of the discussion out just as general discussion about the PPA process and where we are, so the public could have an idea of how the project is progressing. But there are some specific pay provisions and contractual provisions that I want us to talk about in closed session, and then perhaps when we finish there, we would come out and make a motion to actually vote to approve or disapprove this contract. So for now, we are basically making sure that we get information out that's relevant to you and relevant to the public.
Are there any questions from Mr. Ells or from any of the board members? Any discussion from any of the board members? Thank you, Mr. Elser. Sorry you couldn't be here. We enjoy your meetings, but thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. If there's no other discussion, that appears to bring us down to closed session. Pursuant to section 2.2-3711, paragraph A of the Code of Virginia, there will be a closed meeting for the purpose of discussion. One, discussion to consider and act upon a proposed interim agreement related to design work associated with the new elementary school pursuant to a PPEA procurement with the Quisenberry OWPR Lane Group for the construction of a new elementary school involving the investment of public funds pursuant to a PPEA procurement where competition and bargaining are involved, where the financial interests of the school system would be adversely affected if these discussions were made public initially, pursuant to 2.2-3711A6 of the Code of Virginia, and 2, to consult with legal counsel and receive briefing by staff members pertaining to actual litigation with the Board of Supervisors and IDA regarding the location of a proposed new elementary school pursuant to 2.2-3711A7 of the Code of Virginia. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We are now in closed session.